In Rhino class this week, we looked at NURBS surfacing and kind of explained a little bit about what NURBS is and how it works. SolidWorks doesn't work exactly the same way, kind of no matter how you cut it. So we're going to try to simulate what we did, or emulate what we did in Rhino, but, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is, let's call this maybe 100, and we're going to extrude this as a surface extrude by maybe, I don't know, 250. No, that's too much. 200. That'll work. And what I want to do is deform this. First of all, it's a little difficult to see what I'm doing here, so I'm going to change my lighting for my room. Change it to a studio with fill lights. I just think that's a little easier to see what's going on. Now, I'm going to deform this surface using this freeform thing, but if I run freeform and select this surface, it gives me this little warning that says it can't do it. That's because there are two open faces here instead of four. It would prefer to have a four-sided surface to work with. So what I'm going to do is trim this surface back using my front plane as a trim tool. I'll keep the front side of my surface, and then I'm going to go ahead while I'm here and just mirror this again back across the front plane. That way I have two separate surfaces to work with. And now, if I go back to my surfaces tools, I can see I have freeform available. I can click on this front surface, and now I'm able to modify this surface. So I'm going to change this continuity at the top to movable, and change all the others to curvature, because I want those to stay exactly the way that they are, and I don't want them to move. Don't want them to budge one bit. I'm also going to turn on direction 1 symmetry, so that everything that I do on this side of the product will be identical to that side. And I'm going to say that this is a control polygon mesh rather than a through points mesh, and add curves. So now I'm just going to click maybe there, click on this plane to get a center curve, and then I'm going to hit the tab key to go vertical. I could also go over here and click flip direction and add a curve there, maybe one right there, and that should probably do it. Maybe I'll add a third one just to be safe, and then right click to be done. And now all I have to do is edit some points. So I'm going to make the face a little bit transparent and make, let's see, turn my mesh density up a little bit so I can see what's going on, and click on this center curve once. And what that's going to do is give me some control points that I should now be able to edit if I did the right thing. What did I do? Let's just right click real quick. Alright. I should be able to drag these around. There we go. So in side view I can see that I am actually deforming this surface. I'm actually going to go back and change this opacity back to 0 so I can see a little better. There we go. So I'm just going to move these points around until I like them. I can control click multiple points to move them at the same time if I want to. Now what you'll notice is that this doesn't behave exactly like a NURBS spline does. You'll see that this has thrown my curvature off over here, so I'm going to have to manually fix that. Manually come back over here and repair that, and then maybe come back over here to this. Whoa! See, once again, this can be a little bit hairy. So this, I mean, SolidWorks is very new to this kind of modeling. It doesn't have many tools or controls for it, and the results are, I don't know, they're a little bit shaky at best. But you can do it. This is not typically the way that a person would work in SolidWorks. Typically you don't do this kind of freeform modeling in SolidWorks. Typically you would do this kind of freeform modeling in something else, and then when you get into SolidWorks you would be doing much tighter, what's called parametric modeling. That should get us pretty close. Now as you can see we're getting a reasonably good surface, but the top is a little bit deformed. Let's see if we can fix that. So why don't we click on our freeform item here in the tree and click Edit Feature and go to Add Curves. I'm going to add another vertical curve here just because now I can hit right click to commit. Oops. Now I should be able to select this curve. If we zoom in, we can see the kind of havoc we're wreaking up here. and we should be able to fix it. But there's no point alignment in here, like with set points in Rhino. There's none of that kind of stuff. This is all, it's like SolidWorks, they've decided to give you all or nothing. You're either all freeform, no precision whatsoever, or you're all parametric with no precision whatsoever, or I mean with no freeform whatsoever. And it's just a little bit, it's a little bit silly, really. I wish you could do both in here. Alright, so that starts to look a little bit, at least reasonably good. I would do this a different way, typically, for myself, but I thought I'd show you how you can do that. Now, we can also, we can go ahead and knit these surfaces together to join them, so they're one big happy surface. And I can use offset surface to offset this whole knit thing. I'll flip the direction and choose 1.5 millimeters, let's say. Actually, this is a little bigger than the one we did in Rhino, so maybe 2.5 is better. Click OK. It's going to give us an offset surface. And now we can add a blend surface, just like we did in Rhino. Now, if I do a blend surface, I can use a lofted surface in this case. So I can say loft from here to here, and it's going to make a nice straight surface. And I can say start end constraints over here and change this from none to tangency, and change this one from none to tangency. So now we're going to be tangent on both sides. If I zoom in here, you can kind of see that we have a surface that is just barely tangent on both sides, and I can drag these arrows to be more tangent if I want on each side or less. So we can try to tweak that to be whatever we want. Click OK, and you'll notice that only did half of our cylinder. We actually wanted both sides. So the real way to do this instead of that is to use a composite curve. So we go here to Curves and Composite Curve. In fact, I'll show you in here. Insert, Curve, Composite. And then I just choose these two entities, hit Enter, and then I can actually do another curve, Insert, Curve, Composite, join these two the same way. Now, if I run a lofted surface, I can run it from that composite curve to this other composite curve, and now you can see the loft goes all the way around, and I can set tangency on both faces, and there we have it, our surface. Now we do have to go manually hide our composite curves. They don't automatically hide like sketches do. So there we go, we have a completed surface. We could also do this a slightly different way if we wanted. I could take this whole thing, and instead of offsetting it, I could use under Features, I have this Thicken feature, so I can thicken that by 2.5. And that'll just go ahead and make a thick surface with a flat, it'll go ahead and try to put something in between this surface here. And we can use a full round fillet by clicking on the outside surface, and then clicking in this middle box, and then clicking the middle surface, and then clicking the bottom box and clicking the inner surface. Click OK, and that should go ahead and make a perfect fillet that goes all the way around, that is tangent to all three of those faces. Okay, so that is one way to do a basic carafe in SolidWorks, and then we will look in a little more detail at the way I would actually do it in the next video.